It is 49ers and Ravens week. I will have behind enemy lines like normal, but as promised, I have a very, very special guest. Those of you that have been rocking with Last Second Sports for a while know that my 9-year-old son, Maddox, is a Ravens fan. And I thought, what a great opportunity to bring him on, introduce you to him, and get his perspective as a Ravens fan. Maddox, how did you become a Ravens fan?
I was playing Madden and I was playing with the Niners. And I was like, Jimmy Garoppolo's slow and he cannot get out away from the rushers. So then I was just playing with other teams and I found Lamar Jackson. He was a great rusher and he was a great passer too. And I was like, hey, they're a great team and I think I should start liking them. So I started watching them and then I was like, oh, they're actually pretty good. And then I started watching them more and more and I loved them. So I became starting to become a Ravens fan.
Okay, what other players besides Lamar Jackson do you like?
Mark Andrews, I like Safe Flowers, and I also love Odell Beckham. Safe Flowers, he's a star rookie. And I think that Odell Beckham, at the beginning of the season, he was not that good. He is getting back into his old form and he's becoming greater every single game. And I started liking to watch Odell Beckham before I started to watch the Ravens. So I was like, hey, maybe there's hope that he can come to the Ravens. And a few seasons later, he was like a free agent because he got injured. Then I was like, hey, they might get him, and he actually came to the Ravens. So then he's becoming greater, and I think that they're a great team in passing.
Yeah, they're much improved, right? So Lamar
Very much.
Jackson is a lot of people talk about him like he's not a very good
Yeah.
passer. What do you think about that?
Well, he's actually becoming better. He's not as much. He's not running as much as he would run like last season. People are looking at him as a running quarterback, but what if they don't know because they're not watching Lamar Jackson these plays, the great plays he can do, passing to Zay Flowers, and Odell Beckham, and he can make great plays, getting out and getting away from the rushers. And I just think that he is becoming great at passing and he can get away from the rushers.
He's definitely improved as a
Yes.
passer. You and I have talked about that an awful lot. Now, the 49ers are playing the Ravens. You do like the 49ers a little bit, right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that.
I just like to watch them, and when the Ravens aren't playing against them, I'm rooting for the Niners against almost every single team. So I just like the Niners over every single team besides the Ravens.
That's fair.
And I just hope that like the Niners will win against any other team.
Yeah, and you do. You root. I will say this though, that people do ask, "Oh, okay, maybe he's young. He has a chance to be a 49er fan." And I will say when we watch the 49er games, you definitely high five and
Mhm.
celebrate. But when you watch the Ravens game, it's a whole different level of intensity. I can tell that you really love the Ravens. So, I don't think there's a chance that you'll ever be a Niner fan, but you definitely love your Ravens and you know a lot
Mhm.
about them. So that's your team, and that's okay. And I gotta say, I've over the last 2 years or so become a little bit of a Ravens fan myself because I root for them when you're watching them play. I want you to be happy, so I want the Ravens to win, and that makes you happy. On Christmas,
Mhm.
who do you think is going to win the game and why?
I think the Niners will win this
Okay.
because of their running game. And also they have a better tight end. The passing game and the defensive game is still amazingly even, but I think Lamar is better than Brock Purdy, and I think he will win MVP over Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy, it's still a little bit of a fight between them.
Mhm.
Who's going to win the MVP? But I think Lamar can help the Ravens, but I think the Niners are going to win against the Ravens. But it just is a little bit of like unfair, not unfair, but I just think that the Niners are going to win because they're at their home stadium
Yeah.
and it just Ravens are um used to cold in Baltimore. So I think Niners are just going to take the win over them. And Mitchell, he got hurt because Dobbins, he got hurt, and then Mitchell, he was playing great and he's so fast, but he got hurt yesterday against the Jaguars, which made their running game bad.
Yeah, that it makes it a little hard. Edwards is okay, and I think he's just more of a power back,
Yeah.
right? And Mitchell was very explosive and very fast.
Yes.
He came in mid-season, made them kind of a dynamic offense. So I think that is a tough loss, especially this week. I do agree that the Niners being at home is a bit of an advantage. But what's interesting is Lamar Jackson against the NFC is 19-1 in his career because it's hard to prepare for Lamar Jackson and his escapability.
They're not used to playing him, and Isaiah Likely, he's a great fit with against Mark Andrews because Mark Andrews he got hurt, and I think he's a great fill for him, and I think it's a pretty fair fight against George Kittle. I think George Kittle's better than Isaiah Likely, but Isaiah Likely's made explosive plays, and I think that he's a great fill for Mark Andrews.
Yeah, absolutely. So if the 49ers do win on Christmas, would that ruin your Christmas?
No, because even if the Ravens lose against the Niners, they're in the NFC. Ravens are in the AFC. So then it won't really affect their team. And I just think that even if they lose against the Niners, they can still win against Miami Dolphins, which will keep their number 1 seed.
So you're more worried about the number 1 seed?
Yes. I don't care if they lose or win against the Niners. And I think it's going to be a rematch in the Super Bowl, Ravens and Niners.
You think they're going to play again in the Super Bowl? Okay. Who's going to win that one?
I think the Ravens because it's a more neutral field and it's much more fair. And I think the Ravens could figure out whether they're passing or they're running.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be a fair game, but Ravens are going to take the win.
Now, the Ravens defense is very, very good this year. Who are a couple of players you like on the defense?
Hamilton, Matabike, he's great at rushing. And Clowney, he can also defend like a linebacker, which is pretty crazy. He can also sack great, and he can also play as a linebacker, kind of.
Yeah, but he's very athletic. Clowney's been on a lot of teams, but he's done it well. Metabike is very, very impressive.
Yes.
For an interior pass rusher to get that many sacks, that is not normal. He's having a great season. Do you look more forward to the 49ers-Ravens game because it's on Christmas or Santa bringing you gifts? What are you
honestly, 49ers and Ravens.
Okay. But even though you think the Ravens are going to win, you still look forward to it. Okay.
I still want to have fun and just watch that amazing game. And I think it's going to be a very fair game.
Yeah.
With both teams having equal sides.
All right. Well, listen, Ravens fan number 1 down. We have a 49er victory from the Ravens fan. However, he has the 49ers and Ravens playing in the Super Bowl. And if they do play in the Super Bowl, we're going to have to talk about that too, Maddox. Yes. Maddox, thank you for coming on. I know that this can be a little nerve-wracking. I think you did a fantastic job, and I love you very, very much.